Evolution, Darius here. What are earthquakes? When and where in the world do they occur? How are they measured? Luckily I'm here to answer the many questions you have about earthquakes. Earthquakes involve the powerful movement of rocks in the Earth's crust. The rapid release of energy creates seismic waves that travel through the Earth. In an earthquake, the point inside of the Earth where the pressure is released is called the focus. The point on the Earth's surface above the focus is called the epicenter. Seismic waves will then spread out from the focus. Earthquakes can also create tsunamis, which are giant waves that reach the coast and flood the area, then kill hundreds of thousands of people and then cause destruction to property. But we will get onto tsunamis in a different video. Because earthquakes are so inconceivably deadly, over 10,000 people are killed by them every year, and scientists estimate that in the past 4,000 years, 13 million people have died from this breed of Mother Nature. The rise of global warming has been somewhat linked to the increase in the number of earthquakes striking the globe. Generally, more earthquakes tend to happen in the northern hemisphere than the southern hemisphere. As you can see, this is the Earth. Well, it's not the Earth, it's a model of the Earth. This model can show you the countries, continents and oceans. But there is one thing that this can't show you, which is what's inside of the Earth. Inside the Earth there are 4 layers: the crust, the mantle, the outer core and the inner core. The crust is in fact broken into tectonic plates that build up the Earth we stand on. Over thousands of years the plates move. This is because the plates sit on top of the hot mantle that moves. Because the mantle moves, that means the plates will move. The plates can eventually move apart. This exposes the mantle. Over time, the exposed mantle will cool and then it will create new crust. Sometimes the plates don't move apart, they will collide. One plate will move under the other plate, making the plate under melt. This molten crust will add on to the pressure under the crust. Sometimes when the pressure gets too much, the crust will rupture and then it will create an earthquake. Volcanoes and mountains can also be formed this way, but we'll get onto that in a different video. So, we know about the 4 layers that can build up the Earth we stand on, but why does the Earth shake when there is an earthquake? While the edges of the fault are still stuck together and the rest of the plate is moving, the energy that would normally cause the plates to slide past one another is being stored. When the force of the moving plates finally overcomes the friction of the jagged edges of the fault, it unsticks. All that energy that was stored up is then released. The energy radiates outward from the fault in all directions in the form of seismic waves, like ripples in a lake for example. When the seismic waves reach the Earth's surface, they shake the ground and anything on it, like buildings, cars, animals and sadly us. The size of an earthquake depends on the size of the fault and the amount of slip on the fault. But that's not something scientists can simply measure with a measuring tape, since faults are many kilometers deep beneath the Earth's surface. So how do they measure an earthquake? They use the seismogram recordings made on seismographs at the surface of the Earth to determine how large the earthquake was. So then we use the seismograph to calculate the size of earthquakes. But how do we compare them to one another? In 1935, an American seismologist named Charles Richter created a chart to measure the size and power of earthquakes. He named the chart the Richter scale. The Richter scale is a logarithmic scale, meaning that the numbers on the scale measure factors of 10. So for example, an earthquake that measures 4 on the Richter scale is 10 times bigger than one that measures 3. Anything below 2 is undetectable, to a normal person and is called a microquake. Microquakes occur constantly. Moderate earthquakes measure less than 6 or so on the Richter scale. Earthquakes measuring more than 6 can cause severe damage. The biggest quake in the world since the 1900s scored a staggering 9.5 on the Richter scale. It rocked Chile on May the 22nd, 1960. Earthquakes can also cause other disasters like volcanic eruptions, landslides, avalanches, and tsunamis. So Internet, thank you for watching the first episode of Wild Weather, and be sure to check out the future Wild Weather episodes yet to come to discover the natural disasters that live on this world today. Give this video a thumbs up and check out the evolution channels found in the description. Thank you and goodbye.